What's up? It's your boy Shogun back in NYC, the city that never sleeps. Just came down here again by the federal building. Then you got so this is the United States courthouse right here, and then right there is the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals. Very hard to get in there. If you got an issue, you take somebody. And this is a place right here called Jury Duty, where a nice little lounge where people come out, kick it, judges, jurors, whatnot. So yeah. So we've still fresh into the whole P Diddy saga. As we're just leaving the building 2 days ago, where his lawyer tried to appeal his bail denial, and it was denied. So P Diddy was kept in the custody in Brooklyn, New York, right now, which most say is probably the worst jail in the region. Minus any state prison or anything like that, but it's federal lockup, and they got him on in solitary confinement on suicide watch. Now, I say, I think it's very drastic to deny bail for those charges. I understand, this guy has a lot of money, more money than the average person, so they would say that he's a flight risk. What's up, Anthony E? Struggler. See where I am? Just came back downtown, man, out here at the federal building. But yeah, just, with the whole P Diddy thing, the Sixth Amendment is supposed to be a right for all U.S. citizens, and you have the right to a fair trial. Now, this is, as I said before, this is not condoning domestic violence at all. At all. But, I don't believe in overcharging people for crimes. I don't believe in picking and choosing who you're going to apply this law to, especially with this law that we have here in the States called the Mann Act. The Mann Act has something to do with taking women across state lines to have sex with them. In modern times, they refer to it as trafficking, sex trafficking, which sounds just horrible, sounds crazy, but it's not always as bad as it really sounds. But it's very easy to get charged and convicted of sex trafficking, because almost every man has done that. At least every man in the U.S. If you've ever dated a woman, or you were interested in a woman and you made some arrangements, you say, hey, I'm going to send you a plane ticket, or I'm going to send you an Uber. I want you to go I'm in New York and I want you to come from Jersey, or I'm in Jersey and I want you to come from New York. It could be something just as simple as that, crossing over. What's up, Pen? It could be something as simple as that. This sex trafficking and human trafficking, man, I really do have a problem with how that law is applied sometimes. Because it's so broad that you can, if they really wanted to, they could wrap almost anybody into that. And so here's the issue that I have. Okay, in 2016, when Donald Trump was running for president, one of his lawyers, Attorney Cohen, gave on behalf of Donald Trump gave $130,000 to a porn star named Stormy Daniels, right? So he cheated on his wife with this woman named Stormy Daniels, and he wanted her to be quiet during his presidential campaign in 2016. So he spent money for her to come across state lines to come and see him when they wanted to have sexual activities legally. Is that not sex trafficking? That's the same thing that they got P Diddy on uh, for doing the same thing, paying for someone to come across state lines to see you. But not only did he engage in by the technical term of it, sex trafficking, he also attempted to cover it up with that $130,000 payment, which is called obstruction of justice. If we're going by the letter of the law with the federal law, the same thing, charges that they have against Sean P. Diddy Combs, you have to say that Trump committed the same crimes, but he never got charged for it. And when he did get charged, even though he was charged on a state level, he got bail. Nobody called him a flight risk. And he has maybe 30, 40 times the amount of financial resources that Sean Combs has. So I'm just saying, let me cut through here. We just ride and just going on a little cruise. They don't apply the law to folks with good hair. Yes, this is true, but it must be spoken. It must be spoken about because this law, this sex trafficking law, should be a bit more maybe specific to people who are held by force against their will, you know. But yeah, we know that the law doesn't apply to everyone the same. But we can't we can't just be silent about it, because if it could happen to somebody like Sean Combs, it could happen to anybody, and you just have no way of fighting it. So my opinion still stands that he should get bail, even with all of those restrictions. Now, I do think I do think him and his lawyer made a mistake by offering $50 million straight off the bat. I think that was not great at all. And I question. I don't know if his attorney. I'm sure he may not know, because he's just trusting the attorney. He's living his life. He paid. You figure, oh, I paid the lawyer, so everything should be fine. But that wasn't the case. You know, he paid the lawyer. He believed in the lawyer, and everything went the total opposite way that he thought it would go. But yeah, I'm just. Excuse me. So yeah, it really looks like, these guys hang out together. The lawyers, the prosecutors, and the judges for certain people, and they run in the same circles, and they like, nah, don't worry, we're gonna hand him over to you. We're gonna tell you exactly where he's gonna be, when he's gonna be there, and this. Exactly. Yeah.
Most of them, especially like judges and those folks, they all know each other.
Right.
Because most of them, they're in secret societies, like the Freemasons. So when they get together, they're all part of the same group. That has nothing to do with the system. It's just private clubs.
Mm-hmm. So they probably eat dinner together. They go to the same gyms.
Certain private clubs. And they also rendezvous and shit. I just remember into that stuff.
Right. So, have you ever been, and you don't mind, I'm right here, I'm doing my life. Have you ever been offered or invited to something, and maybe you didn't want to go, You had no problem refusing, right? No,
Yeah.
nobody can make you go somewhere you didn't want to go,
Oh
right?
no.
Or
So from my experience, they wouldn't suggest me going to an event or joining the group, and if I say no, it wasn't an issue for me.
right,
You
right,
know. Now the
right,
downside is some situations where I said no, I wouldn't get a job or I wouldn't get certain business opportunities.
right,
But other than them not giving me something I was trying to get, it wasn't like any other type of problem.
right,
Honestly, it probably depends on the group and the situation.
right. But even if you didn't get that certain job or that certain benefit, you still walked away with your
Oh
dignity. You
yeah,
still knew who
there
you
was a sense of
did.
respect. Like it
Yeah,
didn't cross any line.
right,
Only because what happens is in the situations when they deal with the person, the fact that me or anyone is able to get in a room with them
yeah,
usually means the person has certain contacts, capabilities, and skills, and because they know that, they would rather not like mess with that person that they know can like respond a certain way. So they would respectfully just be like, okay, you said that, we won't give you X, Y, Z, and then we move on. They move to the next
right.
person.
So
But
you
now dealing with respectfully what they would consider an average person, they would probably be a lot more hostile.
okay?
You know, that's different.
So
That's
now,
from what I've seen also.
and I agree
From
with you.
stories that I've heard, not just
So now the topic that I was streaming about was the whole P Diddy thing, right?
Oh, I
Can
haven't kept up with it, but I've heard some of what's going on. I just
Right.
haven't kept up
But
to
from
be
what you
honest.
just said, nobody can make you take any drug that you don't want to take, right?
No,
Nobody
not
can make you
legally.
drink alcohol that you don't want to take.
No.
You have the ability to
You have
say
the ability
no.
to say no.
Right.
Exactly.
And if you feel that you're being peer pressured, you can always leave, right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
all right. So you think if someone you know, is experimenting with drugs or alcohol and
And someone
and
else, it says no eventually.
yeah, or they engage in certain behaviors and certain activities after they're high and drunk, but then later on they want to blame on somebody else. Do you think it's right for them to be able to shift the blame from themselves and say, well, so and
Someone
so
else.
offered
No,
it, he made me drink it, he made me take it?
definitely not.
Okay,
Now, what I
okay.
do believe though is, and this is something to factor in, as an individual, I'll be specific. As a black man in society that has reached a certain level of fame and finance,
Yes.
when you join a private group, a secret society or whatever,
Yeah.
and that basically acknowledges you as a smart and someone that has achieved certain success,
Yes.
once you see them do certain activities, we as black men will automatically feel pressure to do it because it's like I've been established by a cabal that they know isn't necessarily into black folks and they give me free reign to do and say whatever I want
Right.
in that group and in life. So when they say things, it's like, we feel
Got you.
I don't mean me, but I've also heard stories and that seems to be what goes on. They just feel like they gotta, be a puppet for those situations.
Got you. Got
Which
you.
is understandable because honestly, as black men, we don't get a lot of respect and opportunities. So when we finally get certain professional people on that level looking out for us, we want to do everything they say.
Wait,
So
can you
that,
repeat that last part again? That bus was
oh
like you
yeah, a
said.
lot of black men in particular, because we don't get a lot of praise, respect, and certain financial opportunities. So we finally get in a group like a private club or cabal of society
Yeah.
where people are protecting us, looking out for us, constantly getting us jobs and deals of hundreds of millions of dollars. We're not trying to like ruffle feathers and tell them, this is something they're doing. You're trying to fit in with the clique that's hooking you up with this
Right. Right.
and protecting you.
So now,
It's like growing up in a rough community where there's gangs around you. If you don't join the gang, what happens is you get picked
you,
on by people that don't
yeah,
really
that are
join
in
the
the
gang.
gang. So you fold.
That's real shit.
So
Real rough for that.
so
And it's
that peer
understandable.
pressure,
Nobody wants to get picked on.
that peer
Nobody wants
pressure.
to feel like they're in a group where everybody's going to look at
So
them funny
so
type
I
shit.
will ask you: do you believe that in America every citizen should be presumed to be innocent until proven guilty?
I think so. Because
Okay.
in reality, you don't really know if someone did something or not until you prove it. So no one should ever be
Do you think
gonna
that he
do that.
should be granted bail? All
I
the
think so.
judge.
I think that he has done some wrong for years, that he has gotten away with committing crimes and messing with people. And I think that even though he was part of some type of powerful group that has a lot of clout nationally and probably internationally, that he's a human being that did wrong and he should be accounted
Okay.
for the bullshit he did.
So you said that first a person should be
And I know
presumed to be
people read the
innocent.
statements, so I get a good gist of like some of the bullshit.
Okay, but if you say a person should be proven guilty or should be innocent until proven guilty,
Yeah.
what crimes can we say that he's committed if we have
Immediately.
if he has no criminal history
I mean,
on
so
his? At
You bring
least,
up a good point. I'm assuming that he's guilty because, quite honestly, I've heard so many stories regarding him. I think I'm thinking raping people, it's a possible murder charge and other stuff. But I'm assuming he is guilty. And very often in entertainment, what happens is, as I said earlier, there are very powerful cliques in all industries. And as a black man, any person, we get in that powerful clique. And even when we do wrong, like kill people who go wrong, that clique will still protect us. And what happens is you have folks that are famous and rich and they kill people, rape kids, or say
got you.
disrespectful things about culture, and they can get away with it. Why? Because they're in a powerful group that knows
Yeah,
judges and presidents of nations, and nobody's
got
gonna
you.
mess with these people.
So I
I
know we
wouldn't
gotta
even
go.
want to mess with them. I just talk about them, but I'm
I,
not trying to go up against them.
I I got you. So
That's just me.
before we go, because I appreciated this conversation as I was talking about it. So you would say though that some people would already go into a trial having a bias against a person before
Definitely.
they even know really if the person actually committed the crime. So if you believe
That's
that the person is guilty,
that often occurs.
you're probably gonna lean more towards a conviction.
Whether or not, no matter what they
Yeah, no
say
matter
and prove
what,
the
even
evidence.
if the
And what
person.
happens is, at the end of the day, you also have some hating and, like I said, racism that goes into play. I feel like there is a lot of black crime syndrome that goes on. And many black people, when they see a celebrity do wrong, you have two sentiments that go on. You have a group of black people that honestly believe that a black celebrity could do no wrong, which is bullshit. We all humans.
Yeah,
People in
everybody's a
all
human.
cultures do
Yeah.
bullshit, killing people, raping folks, harassment, stuff like that. I think everyone should be held accountable. I've heard a lot of bad stories about P Diddy in particular. I also have contacts in entertainment that have told me he seems to have done this stuff. I
Yeah.
don't have the evidence, but if he did do it, I think that the same way they would jail a regular person, they should consider jailing him if they find evidence,
Right.
if that exists.
Okay. If they find the
And
evidence.
if they don't, they
Now,
should
in
prosecute.
in regards to bail, do you think that people should be denied bail right off the bat just based off of the allegations and the charges,
Oh no,
or
definitely not. Because I mean, this may be naive, but I think that everyone, I think, deserves a right to bail, honestly.
to a fair
And
trial at least,
I
right?
think, yeah, a fair trial and bail, and I think it honestly goes to a human rights sentiment that we're all human, and whether or not we may have done something wrong or not, if we're possibly gonna face the possibility of being confined in a prison, we should have the same option to, okay, I want my bail, because I may go to jail. So
This is
I think
true.
there's a very human sentiment that goes with that.
This is true, brother.
Getting into contracts, possibly real estate.
Okay.
I'm trying to build strong networks and an amount of money so
Okay.
that when I have kids in offspring for my community, and as I transition, as I get older, I can leave something behind for my kids that's more substantial than a famous person flossing what they got or talking
Right.
shit on TV. I
It's
want
it's
to do
true.
something
Are you
more.
usually around this area?
I work in this area, different
Okay.
locations, but I
Okay.
live uptown, so
Okay.
you
Okay.
probably would see me on a weekly basis around here. But
Okay.
other than work, I don't live around here, so I go back to my home area, which is Harlem.
Okay. I'll be around, man. I'll see you,
Yeah,
Jay. If you got a
okay.
car, you ain't got a card or
I don't
anything.
have a car, but
All
you will
right.
definitely
Check.
see me. I'm always here,
All right. You can check.
working
You
hard
can
and
check
shit.
my YouTube channel. It's called Passport Shogun. P
Yeah?
like passport and then the
Word.
space SHOGUN.
Yo, I
Passport
was just
Shogun.
thinking if you post that, the Freemasons may try to kill me. I'm kind of
No, man.
scared.
They probably come and get me first, man.
I don't want,
All of the shit I talk.
not to sound like a bitch, but I don't want no smoke with these
Nah,
fucking
nobody's.
generals and presidents of nations.
No, because you're an intelligent guy, man.
That's
Just
true.
just and at the end of the day, we can't live in fear anyway, because they coming to get us one way or another. You know what I mean? But we can't escape the Reaper. But stay up. I'll see you.
Definitely.
All
I'll see
right,
you also.
all right,
Be
man.
on site, man.
No problem. Good luck.
Good luck with everything.
All right, cool,
Thank you,
cool.
man.
All right, yeah. So someone may tear up some hot wings. All right, let me catch up with some of these comments that I may have missed. They're making money off his money. Yeah, share the same side place. Someone made me tear up, but they not my fault. Right. I blame the house owner and he was sued. Exactly. Thanks, I appreciate that like, that thumb up. Puff should get bail because he didn't kill anybody. This is what I think, Ruben. I say this. I think he should, if it was a murder charge, that's a different story, or multiple murders, and you say, okay, well, this person really is a flight risk, then yeah. But you have people who have been charged with murder, who their bail might have been only $1 million. You know, uh, there hasn't been one accusation of a murder or anything like that, but the bail got denied still. Uh, so I'm just pointing out a couple of biases that I see. You know, and I know everybody is biased in one way or another, because there's the gentleman that we were just talking to just now. He said, man, I don't think, at first he said, I don't think he should get bail because I've heard so many things and I've read so many things. But that is not the same as knowing that a person did something. We know that P Diddy is a pariah. We know that he really doesn't have any, we know that he doesn't have any support in the public. And we know that, we'll say it, he did some punk shit with how he stomped that girl out, you know? And, you know, it was a bit excessive, you know what I mean? Definitely excessive. But that aside, the man paid $30 million as a I'm sorry, okay, leave me alone. 30 mil is 30 mil. I don't care. Look, I will gladly, I will gladly, and I know there's plenty of people who would gladly take an ass whooping, a few ass whoopings for $30 million. You know? So that in itself, I think, was a huge punishment, that embarrassment. Now, does it mean that a man should get jailed? Yeah. But I also think, you know, sometimes those crimes should definitely be reported. But I don't think that it warrants life in prison, which is what he's facing right now. He's definitely facing life in prison. Minimum, if he got convicted of any one of these charges, it's a minimum 15-year sentence. You know, you know. So again, do you think that it warrants a life sentence? Now, I look at it like this too. If that was my mother, my sister, my cousin, or my daughter, how would I feel? You know, I always keep that in mind. I don't want to act like, yeah, it's crazy. And then he's got to stop anywhere, right? That's New York for you. But yeah, if that was one of my relatives or a loved one, I would be pissed. But I think in a situation like that, you have to apply street justice. You know, if the girl wants him if she want to press charges, yeah. But if she come and tell one of her family members, we're gonna ride on his ass and put a foot in his ass. We don't care how much he has, how many people is in front of him. You put one on me, we're gonna put two on you. You know, so I think that's how that should have been handled. The money was great, but so yeah, think it's a separate thing. Now you have this sex trafficking, which is the charge that bothers me for a lot of reasons, not just in this case, but for other cases as well. Anybody in here familiar with the Mann Act that was put together in like 1910 for the boxer Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion of the world? He was the first. When you talk about flamboyant, boisterous, confident, when you look at Muhammad Ali, you look at Floyd Mayweather, you look at and P Diddy, You know, you look at these guys that have been ultra successful, ultra wealthy, or in their fields, and ultra confident. This has always been a no-no in America. If you are black, those things, people don't like to see that. And then also, if you, you know, you attract white women or women that are different from your race, that is really a sin, where they say, okay, we're gonna find a way to we can't get you for this, but we'll get you for that. So long story short, that Mann Act was put together for Jack Johnson. If I don't go all the way into details, man, I'm sure that you guys will fact check me and look it up. There's a great documentary, if you ever get a chance to watch it. It's called Unforgivable Blackness: The Rise and Fall of Jack Johnson. And it's like what we're seeing right now, the rise and fall of P Diddy. But the difference is that video is gonna always be stamped on Diddy. It's gonna overshadow all of the good that he's done, the entertainment, the hundreds of kids that have gotten scholarships from him. He's created a school, scholarship fund. So plenty of people got an education that probably couldn't afford one for the guy. And he gave out a lot of jobs. But there's another side too. The man did promote a lot of alcohol use. You know, he did promote, the liquor companies, Ciroc and De Leon, which is not a. It's if you wanna maintain a squeaky clean image, you gotta stay out of stuff like that. Even though the money is good, it seems good. But some say that was a cause for a lot of the problems that he's having now. And 50 Cent has come out and said that, which I say that's part of it, but that ain't the biggest part of it. But that's definitely part of it. Somebody said, let me catch up with these comments. Diddy and Meek Mill was smashing. I don't know if that's true. I've heard that. I've seen that people posting that, and they said it was like some kind of soundbite, but who knows? You know what I mean? And even so, I don't condone it, but what people do in their bedroom, if it's consensual, that's their business. I appreciate the likes too. But premarital consensual sex is illegal, right? The white dude that got caught, Ruben said, with drugs in Miami, Florida's the person who snitched on Pop. Yeah, he's one of them, definitely. He's definitely one of them that snitched. Now, the problem, it started before that still, though. That was just the guy who they got to flip. He's just a small piece of it, but he's going to be a big part. Because if you notice, they said he pled guilty and he got like a year of probation. Who gets a year of probation on a federal charge? Not only that, it was a drug charge, and it was a small amount of drugs. It was probably enough, that you can fit in one pocket. So it's not like they were moving kilos of cocaine. It wasn't like they had a bunch of bags of ecstasy, because they searched that plane high and low, looking for. And you know how slick the media is, because the media really knows how to influence people. They started referring to him as a drug mule, and he only got caught with like a very small amount. So, if you really know what a drug mule is, look at the skyline down there, look nice. Look, if you really know what a drug mule is somebody that's traveling with packs of drugs. Not this person got caught with 2 grams, 3 grams of this pink cocaine or heroin or whatever it is, So they're framing it as he's running a conspiracy. He's They're framing it like, yeah, he's a big mafia boss, he's a drug runner, he's this and that. So yeah, that kid is definitely turned on him. But they also, you know, people when you're in that hot seat, I don't know if you any of you who have ever been in legal trouble and you get in the hot seat, right? And hold on one second. Yeah, you get in that hot seat. Sometimes the police will put pressure on you to say you did something that you didn't do, or say they will put pressure on you to just come up with a story to give them just so they can let you out. And you know, that could have very well happened there. I've been in situations where, you know, somebody will say, oh, you know, what did you do? You be like, look, I didn't do nothing, man. This person did something to me first, and all I did was retaliate right then and there, you know. But they messed with me first, right? No, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear what they did. We want to know what you did. And I'm like, look, I was just defending myself from what he did. He did something so they'll keep beating you. They're like, no, 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 we don't want to hear that. And they'll grill you for days until you finally say, you know what, man, I'm sorry. You know what? It was all my fault. I did it. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. And they're like, that's all we wanted to hear. And then when they put it on the paper, they'll say so-and-so pleads guilty and admits and confesses and blah, blah. And you like, damn, when I was telling y'all the truth, you didn't want it. But I told you a bullshit story, you accepted it. So that happens a lot. You know what I mean? And the average person may not understand that. Anyway, hey, so apologies for your comments regarding the Jewish the other day. Don't want to get you. No, it's all good, man. I just didn't want to. Look, you ask, Nicholas, if you still here, you ask and you say what you want. You know, it's just, I had to, you know, I would like to ask those questions, but at that particular time, probably, I had other stuff that I was thinking first, you know, and just letting the guy ramble on for real. You know, let the guy talk. Somebody said that beating was not a one-off. Yeah, GSD, I hear you. That's something that probably, you know, that was something that probably wasn't the first time. But I also have heard and seen some stories from one of his former bodyguards who said that the violence was mutual. Like the violence would go back and forth, where, you know, the chick might flip out and start hitting him first, and then he responds. And now, this is no excuse, man, because a man is bigger and stronger, so you can't hit a woman. First of all, they say a man should never put his hands on a woman at all, and I think that's a great that's a great idea to live by. It's a great principle to live by, but in reality, you know, a man is capable of flipping out on anybody sometimes, you know what I mean? And it's not even that you're trying to really hurt the woman or you trying to kill her or injure her. It's not even that. It's just sometimes it's like, damn, lady, I'm not gonna keep accepting you throwing shit at me. You know, I've been in that situation where I try to just be cool and calm, and I say, you know what, let me ignore this woman right now, because she just woke me up out of my sleep and I'm just trying to sleep. And because I'm not responding, she picks up things and starts throwing them and hitting it. And at what point it's like, okay, either I'm gonna have to call what man wants to call the police on his woman? Like, think about that. Like, have you ever been in a situation and your girl's maybe upset about something, maybe she's on a period or whatever, and she just gets she gets real aggressive, you know? And you like, damn, I don't want to do to her what she's doing to me. She just threw a coffee cup at me. I don't want to throw this heavy ass porcelain glass at her, but she threw it at me and I ducked. But you don't want to call the police on your woman, but if you grab her and you like try to restrain her, that is called domestic violence. So it's almost like you're asking a man to do something that is unmanly by telling him to call the police on his woman. But how can you, the relationship will never be the same after that. And you may feel like, hey, we don't need to be together if something, but then then she apologizes later, right? So my point is, there's some relationships where the domestic violence goes both ways, but the man is the one that gets in trouble the most. And this is no way, as I said, no way excusing what was on that tape, but I'm just saying, I don't know if that chick is 100% innocent as, as people tend to believe. I don't know. Could be, could not be. Like I said, if that was somebody in my family, I would definitely try to take whatever action I could. This isn't really about all the freak off parties of Cassie. She got paid. Right, Ruben. This case is about money. Puff's net worth $600 million. These people want that money. Yup, I get it. Look, Ruben, I don't know if you're still here. I 100% agree with you. That's a huge part of it. I think that's about, I want to say that's about 80% of it. I believe. That's 80% of it. The other 10% could be about the domestic violence issue. And then the other 10% is just hate. Internet, just having a not so great reputation. And if you don't have any public support in a case like that, you're gonna be in some, it's gonna be very tough to get a fair trial. And that's all, look, only thing I'm advocating for is a fair trial. That's it. It is about that money. It's consensual. What do you mean the money is good? Yes, it is. He went home where the lights. Guys was doing damage control. Master pushing buttons. Tribeca is nice. The Dominican shorty's there. And Puff went to jail. You going to the Bronx? No, I'm not in the Bronx. I'm all the way, I'm downtown. I'm just walking towards Midtown. Probably go hang out at Central Park for a little bit. But I just wanted to jump on the stream a little bit, just to follow up on the stream that I had a few days ago. Penn was here, Struggler was here, where we were outside the bail hearing for P Diddy, and he got denied twice, and it piqued my interest, man. I've never been outside a United States courthouse, so it piqued my interest for me to find out more. And at one point, I'll tell you, many, many years ago, I had studied some pre-law. I just never went all the way through with it, but it just piqued my interest to see what was going on, man. And it didn't sit, the whole process didn't sit right with me. And some of the actions that his legal team took kind of just left me scratching my head a little bit. But I will say maybe they thought they were doing what was best. They were trying to gain trust with the prosecutors, but you can't trust them. You can't trust the police. You can't trust the district attorney. You cannot. Unless you're the one making the complaint, maybe. So my next question is, do you guys think that he would be able to get a fair trial? With all that all of the preconceived notions, is he considered to be innocent, guilty till proven innocent right now? Do you think he's already been convicted in the public? We just talked to the young guy a few minutes ago who's like, oh man, no bail. He did it. I read this and I heard that. Well, you don't know that for a fact. These are just things that we see on the internet and we take them as fact. But then you find out years later, oh, that's not even what happened, or that's not true. Think about the times in your life where there's been a rumor that was going around about you, and then you had to try to correct it, but nobody wanted to listen. And you're like, look, man, I know what I did. Uh, you weren't there. You don't know. You're just going off of assumptions. So yeah, he's doing time. They're gonna get paid. I agree. It's a circus like Queensbridge. Have you been to any of the hoods in NYC? A few. I mean, I was just in Harlem and last weekend, and then Brooklyn the weekend before that. His money is doing time. Don't know. It's all one big joke that'll cost the taxpayers a lot of money, meaning no money spent on real crime. Yeah, and I hate this new phenomenon of people who experiment with drugs. They drink alcohol. They engage in risky behavior. You know, sometimes you have women who go out, they get drunk and high, and then they go and sleep with some random stranger, and then they keep it moving. But then you have, and I'm not saying that's all women, but I've definitely seen some and been around, you know, hanging out in the clubs and stuff like that. I don't know about so much around here lately, but you know, definitely years ago, there was a phenomenon of one night stands, what they would call it. And if you become wealthy after having a one night stand, a woman can always come back and say that you took advantage of her. Or and a man can say that as well. The driver is crazy, almost hit somebody. Yeah. So now during a one night stand, if the man is intoxicated and the woman is also intoxicated, or maybe they're both on some kind of Molly or ecstasy or whatever their choice of drug, if both of them are messed up, you say that if a person is intoxicated, they can't give consent, right? If a woman drinks alcohol, she gets drunk, legally she's not able to consent to having sex. Even if she takes her clothes off and jumps on you naked and starts grinding on you, if you are not drunk, she can say that you took advantage of her and you raped her. But the other way around, a man could never say that. If the shoe was on the other foot, a man could never say that. So now, if both men and women are drunk and or under the influence and they engage in some kind of sexual activity, who took advantage of who? If neither one of them can legally give consent. I don't know what this SOBs. I've heard of this place, but I've never been there. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so can somebody explain that to me? Isn't it mutual if both parties have been drinking, if the man and the woman are drinking and doing drugs, and they end up having sexual activity? Why does the man get the blame? If a week later, or sometimes not even a week later, sometimes it's like what they've been doing is 15 years later, 20, 30 years later, they'll come out and say, oh, I remember one night I was drinking, he put something in my drink, or he gave me a pill, and then all of a sudden I don't remember anything. He drugged me. This is what they call drugged. You both took the drugs. Nobody forced it down your throat. So, who's wrong in that situation? Yeah, Ruben said your foundation is in Harlem. Harlem, uptown. Yeah, speaking of Harlem, I was up there too. In Harlem, you get mixed reviews. You got some people who are out there who are uh, who have the mindset. They're like, oh, well, Diddy never did anything for Harlem, uh, so he deserves to go down and this and that. And then you got some people like, oh, we'll just wait and see. But let's take a little stroll down this little quiet street here. Maybe next time I live stream, I'll be in Brooklyn. So yeah, this was just my little topic of the video, man. Just wanted to know, what do people think about this bail situation? You know, people who have been accused of murder have gotten bail. I mean, $1 million bail, 2 million. I don't think I've ever heard the largest bail request that I ever heard of was 25 million dollars bail, and that was in the Suge Knight case back in LA a few years ago when he was charged with running over. Forget the gentleman's name. Assalamu alaikum. Ah, okay. Excuse me. But yeah, so $25 million bail was the highest bail that I've ever heard of. I'm sure there may have been another one that's been higher than that, but $25 million, that was about, I want to say 5 years ago for Suge Knight. He couldn't come up with the bail, and he sat in jail for the duration of his trial, and then eventually he ended up, I think he pled guilty. He took a plea. Salam, salam, salam. Found a nice little area to come hang out. All right, so that was a few years ago. That $25 million bill, he couldn't get it. And like I said again, this was for killing somebody, a homicide. Do we know? I don't know if it was a real murder or if it was an accident, but either way, someone died. And that bail was that high, of course, because of his reputation. It wasn't necessarily just because it was a homicide. It was because he'd been known for getting in trouble over the years. So the judge probably was like, yo, I'm going to make it tough for you. And you used to be worth $100 million, so we know you may have some money somewhere. So this is why they put it up there like that. Now, in this case, in P Diddy's situation, they didn't, from what I understand, they didn't even ask for the bail. He just quickly offered it up, and at 50 million, I mean, if I was the one that was able to give the advice for that and make the decision, I would have said, hey, let's see what they say first. Let's offer 10 million. You know what I mean? If you offer 10, if they reject that, because they were gonna reject that 10 million, but they offer 10 million, then the next day we say, look, we'll give 20 or we'll give more. But if you start at 50 million and there's all this stuff on the internet about you being a billionaire, which we know is most likely he's not a billionaire, but that's the rumor, is he's a billionaire. So they're like, no, 50 million, you just trying to give us some little crumbs of what you got. Turn it up. So, the only way I think that a judge would probably grant a bail now after that rejection is probably if more money is given. But I don't think that, I don't know. It's finances, but I think it's probably very unlikely that the man would have 50 million in cash. because that bail was gonna be, excuse me, was gonna be secured by two properties, two houses. Look at this. You guys know about this guy Basquiat. I never really knew this guy, but I heard about him through Jay-Z talking about him. But I really know who he is before my time. So, say, you may be correct. However, rap music doesn't help the community. Black women graduate college at a fair rate and hold us down when we in the street work. Black men lead prison and low education. That is true. That is true. I agree. Rap needs to come to an end because most youth can't decipher real life from fiction because catching cases and ruining our lives. Right? Well, I would say this. I'm not gonna be too hard on rap. What I'll say is yes, there's a lot of bad rap out there, definitely. There's a lot of bad rap, a lot of negative rap out there. There's no denying that. But all rap is not bad. All rap does not promote violence. All rap does not promote promiscuity. It all depends on what you hear. And the rap on the radio, yeah. But that's designed like that, purposely. These companies know. You got that slingshot, that's dope. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. You got the custom slingshots. But yeah, I won't dump all the way on hip hop and rap because keep in mind, uh, just like there's bad movies, there's good movies. So there's bad music and there's good music. There's good rap, there's bad rap. So I don't put it all in one category, and let's also admit too that hip hop has been a wealth vehicle for a lot of people who had no other talents. There's been people over the last, I'll say maybe 30 years to the last 25 to 30 years that have made a lot of money from making music, and they wouldn't have been able to do anything else. These are not people that were like scientists or doctors or lawyers, but they found a way to use their talent and make music, and they changed their lives and their families' lives because of it. So I give rap and hip hop, I give the people credit for finding a way to make millions off of using language, making music with your mouth, just rhyming words. You know? Soy 6 rap dope. Yeah. So, but I do get your point. It's the content of a lot of the modern day rap out here. Let me see this real quick. This is a massage place. Let me compare their prices to, oh, this ain't too bad. $40, $39 for a 40-minute foot massage. Remember this. That's still like 5 times the price of Thailand, but hey, it's cool. Yeah, so I don't know if rap music should come to an end. Matter of fact, I don't think it should. I just think that it should evolve into something better and not just be based off of twerking and killing and drilling and all of this. Oh, yeah. Like that, yeah. You know? But we live in a day and age, unlike back in the day where you had to be somewhat good for people to take a chance on you. You had to be a good artist for people to want to invest and put you in a studio. They'll put you in $1 million studio. You had to be good. And nowadays, you don't need a record company. You don't need anything. All you need is a computer and a microphone. And you can make your own song. And that's what a lot of these young guys are doing. They're just making whatever comes to their mind, and a lot of it is unrealistic, like you said, and it's destructive. But because they don't have that barrier of needing somebody to put a lot of money behind them, they can just put out a whole lot of trash. Now, let's go. Let's talk about how. Let's talk about how a lot of artists back in the day ended up signing contracts that didn't really give them the bigger end of the stick, right? If you if you were in a if you were a good artist, you focusing on your craft, and you wanted to become a star, you had to find a record company or somebody who would put a couple $100,000 behind you, $1 million behind you, just so you can get into a recording studio, and then they can market you, they can put you on magazines and in television. But in exchange for that investment, they would say, look, we own the rights to your music. Maybe we own the rights to your name, because we got to recover this money that we spent on you. So we're the ones taking the risk. We don't know if you're going to really blow up or not, and you're going to be successful, but we're going to take the risk. So a lot of people, especially young artists, would sign these contracts, signing over their publishing in exchange for some upfront money that these record executives will give them. And this is something like you hear about with Puffy quite often, is that people talk about not receiving publishing royalties. But if you sign those publishing royalties over, the person didn't steal it. You just didn't negotiate to keep it. So I'm against people saying, "Oh, he stole this from this person, or you stole that from that person," but it was in the contract what the terms would be. Maybe you didn't understand the contract, but you cannot blame that on the person who presented you the contract, because it's not their responsibility or their job to educate and say, "Hey, this is what this means," or "This is what that means." So I'm just saying that in the past, that's what, excuse me.
Enjoying your day, Andy?
In the past, that's what got a lot of artists stuck into bad deals. Even Prince, the great artist Prince, got into a bad contract with Warner Brothers. You would think Warner Brothers was the one of the best companies because they were so big and they had a TV station, but Warner Brothers did it to Prince. Prince might be the most talented musician ever, because he played so many instruments, and he could sing, he could dance. So as far as talent, his talent level was just insane. It was out of this world. It was one of a kind, right? Even he was in a bad deal, so much so that he had to change his name. And they started calling him the artist formerly known as Prince. So that just brings me back to what I was saying about Diddy. People have to understand he's a record exec investing money into people's projects. You can't call it stealing or robbery if you sign the contract and then later you're upset that you signed that contract without at least first trying to renegotiate. Yeah. You don't know one person who work in a warehouse where Ciroc is distributed. I don't know one lady who works for Beyonce's hair company. I don't know one black who worked for Tidal. Yeah, that's interesting. I will say, when it comes to Ciroc, I've seen Ciroc in a lot of places. I remember Ciroc was big in Japan. I know some people who had, like, Ciroc was a big deal to a few people, to the point where I know some people who used to just keep a Ciroc bottle in their house, even after the bottle was finished. A few girls. This is when I was living in Japan, and I don't know. Hip hop is the biggest marketing vehicle there is, I think, because whatever the coolest rappers wear or say, that's what everybody's gonna start wearing and saying. Uh, Whatever they do, and of course it starts in the streets, but then the rappers go and put it on record, and then everybody starts copying. Uh, but yeah, as far as the alcohol, you think about it. Back in the day, they were talking about Moet, then Dom Perignon, then they were talking about Cristal, and then it went from Cristal to vodka like Armadale. It was Belvedere, um, and then it became Ciroc. And I think once these rappers started realizing the amount of money they were bringing those companies, they're like, oh, maybe I should do my own. Then you see 50 Cent started his own company. He was selling champagne. Jay-Z, Ace of Spades. You know. Now that Hair Factory, I don't know. And Title, uh, I don't know, because I think Title was originally a Norwegian company. Title was a Norwegian company originally, and it got bought by Jay-Z. So I don't know what their staff looked like after he bought it, but we, from what we understand, it was a very good business move, because I think it was bought for a total of about 56 million or something like that, and then a few years later it was bought up by Apple Music, if I'm not mistaken, for 300 million, something crazy like that. Yeah. So even as a New Yorker, how many people can you call now that Diddy employed? Uh, I would say, I mean, and it depends on how long they were employed. I think a lot, to be honest. I'm sure at some point there's definitely been a few hundred people that have received some kind of payment from him. It had to be. It had to be. Not saying that a few hundred people worked for him all at one time, but I think in order to amass that amount of wealth, when you having $500 million in assets and things like that, or 100 million, whatever it could be, it might be 50 million. You definitely had to have a good staff under you. You definitely had to have a good staff. You know, but what happens if those people no longer work for you, and you no longer want them on the what happens if you no longer want them on your payroll, or you have to fire someone? Maybe somebody did a incompetent job, and you felt like that person wasn't good. That person wasn't good for your business. You have to fire them, and that person gonna hold a grudge against you. Yeah, a lot of nice things out here today. Yeah, so you said, even as a New Yorker, how many people you call now that Diddy employed? Yeah, that's a good question, but I'm sure there's a few hundred. There got to be at least 100 out there. Whether it was a tailor, a chef, bodyguard, producer, artist, publicist, but they all gone now. Everybody. I'm telling you, man, the power of the state is just unstoppable. They probably scared everybody to get away from him, and that's another reason why. That's another reason why I think they did him so hard by rejecting that bail. Is they're like, yo, we want to shut him down completely. We don't even give him. Only thing we want him to do is breathe and eat in this little in this little cell, and you can't even really breathe or eat it. I know. Look, they say they put the man. They say they put him on suicide watch, and I totally get it because when you go from that kind of a lifestyle to being in a cell, it's not easy. But I also believe that they're trying to kill him. Make no mistake. I think they're gonna try to do him like they did Jeffrey Epstein. They're gonna try to. I think you may hear something about him in the cell. God forbid, I don't wish that on no man. But I'm not gonna be surprised. Knowing this country, and also when they talk about the things that may have been recorded on those tapes, there's probably nobody wants a tape unless you're a porn star. Nobody wants a tape going out of them doing their thing unless you're trying to get some marketing, you're trying to get some attention. Don't get me wrong, there's some people who don't mind, you know what I mean? That's how Kim Kardashian, one of the big things that got her big, you know, Ray J, Pamela Anderson had some tapes out, but most people don't want to be on the world to be watching them while they engage in sexual activity. You know what I mean? So those people who may or may be on tape, we don't even know if they are tapes. We just going off of what the feds say. We don't know if it's true or not, but the feds could be saying, you know what, we got certain people on tapes doing certain things, and those people are sweating. They don't want that shit to get out, so they're like, yo, we got to destroy this guy, or we got to take him out so that stuff doesn't get out. It may not even be any tapes, you know? They said, oh, they seized over 200 cameras. Well, I would expect a house, if you got houses that are that big, for you to have a lot of cameras. I don't know any more than that. I'm wary when I hear that the feds or the government say something, because I still remember when they lied to us about 9/11. They lied to us about Saddam Hussein having weapons of mass destruction, and then they went and they destroyed the country, killed a lot of innocent people, and didn't find out one piece of a weapon of mass destruction. My point is, you can't always believe what the government says just because they say something. What's up, bro? Thank you, man. I like that shirt, man. All right, you got some style over there, boy. All right, now. You too, fam. Yeah, so I'm not quick to believe all that. Just give people a fair shot. He employed a few hundred, like you said, maybe even high thousands, but misled millions. Okay, that's fair. And I agree with that, because as somebody who, like I said, I don't drink liquor, so I'm against promoting it. But I have my own vices that, you know, some other person might look down on me for. So I think no human is perfect. Everybody has some kind of vice. It could be sugar. It could be whatever. It could be a bad diet. You giving a kid soda is like exposing them to have ADHD or diabetes or something like that. You could be misleading them that way. I'm just saying, everybody does something, but the alcohol is where I thought was a little bit too much, promoting alcohol amongst our people. You say he did it. Tierra, you say he did it. You think he did all of it? Tierra, how many times do you think rap music is ruined? So, like I said, you can get anybody for sex trafficking. If somebody sends somebody a plane ticket and then they in another state, and then you have consensual sex later, and you give that person a gift or you give them some kind of payment, that is, by definition of the law, that is sex trafficking. Is that fair to apply in cases where You didn't force anybody to go anywhere. You didn't have them tied up. You said, "Hey, we're having a party tonight. I want you to come to my party." You got you have every ability to say no. You don't have to go to every party you're invited to. You don't have to drink everything that somebody gives you. You don't have to take drugs if you don't want to.
Oh, this is 70,000
Nobody
people
can
watching.
force you to take anything that you don't want to take.
Wait,
That
are you like
that's
famous?
my
Are you like
only.
famous?
Not really.
But how
Maybe
many
I'm
people are
building.
watching?
It's been fluctuating. I'm going from 3 to up. Now it's down to 3 again.
Oh, I
So it's
thought it was
something.
70,000 because it.
Oh, right there.
Yeah, I was
Nah,
like,
yeah. One day.
one day. I
One
respect the
day.
hustle, bro. Hey, hey.
Passport Shogun.
What's your handle,
The
bro?
channel is Passport
Passport.
Space Shogun.
Okay. Okay.
Shogun.
Best of luck,
All
bro.
right, man. For
Yeah, have a
sure.
good
Take it
day.
easy, man. You too. Yeah, New York City. All right, so I agree with everything you're saying and think racism has played a huge toll on black men. However, we got to change, family. If blacks start loving each other and not materialism. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. We gotta proceed a lot differently nowadays, you know. But if you make too much money, you have to, you just gotta be humble because people don't want to see you showing off when they don't have. That makes you hated because you're like, oh man, how the hell did he get $100 million and I can barely get 100,000? Nobody, nobody's gonna have sympathy for you, you know. But fair is fair. So
Oh, yeah.
Tierra, all I was saying, look, no matter what we believe, a man should at least have a chance for a fair trial. A man is entitled to a fair trial and should be able to get bail while he goes through trial if he has been able to display that he is not a flight risk, which he did display. He did show that he wasn't a flight risk by coming to New York. Think about it. Imagine you knew somebody was trying to give you life in jail. Somebody, yeah, you might have done something wrong, but you didn't do all that they say you did. But you did some messed up things, but you know somebody's trying to give you life in jail, and would you decide to turn yourself in, or would you flee? And if you're gonna flee, you wouldn't come right to where the people who are gonna charge you are. You definitely wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't come right down the street from the federal building and play in their faces and especially in a city like New York where you can't hide. A guy like that can't hide. So I'm just saying uh, that wasn't right. That wasn't fair. And again, what it all is all gonna boil down to is that whole tape, the hallway beating. That's what everybody is really holding them down for. Is it was all about that. Is that worth a conspiracy charge, a RICO and racketeering charge, and a life in prison? I have a problem with that. And the trafficking. These are the things that I have a problem with. Sex trafficking applied to people who willingly got on planes, people who willingly drank alcohol and took drugs repeatedly. So thought you were from the West Coast. West Coast has a little love for Diddy. I know, Nicholas. Well, I spent some time, like I said, I lived in Vegas, man. I spent a lot of time around West Coasters. I lived in Hawaii, even though that ain't really the West Coast, but it's a lot of West Coast influence. So some people even say my accent sounds like West Coast. But that's another thing too. The West Coast has no love for Diddy because they suspect that, well, they know that him and Tupac didn't get along. Tupac hit him up on record saying that, you know, he's a bad boy killer. And he said that, hey, my fofo, make sure all your kids don't grow. That's a very tough line right there. So people who love Pac have a hatred for Diddy. But that hatred, I can't say it's not justified, because you like who you like and you pick up on, and people who you admire, you kind of take on their battles and things like that sometimes. So I definitely get it. But me being from over here, I say, man, I want to see fair is fair. And I would feel like that with anybody. If I feel like anybody is getting a fair shake, I mean, an unfair shake, I'm going to have a problem with that. Another person, hold on, you're well-traveled. Imagine if someone told you about Thailand as a youth and universally schooling across water, we would kill ourselves over women in states due to lack of opportunity. Man, I'm telling you. Yeah, I've heard of Thailand when I was younger, but I never imagined that I'd actually go there and I'd spend that much time there. And I absolutely had a great time over there. You guys know that. Like I said, I wouldn't mind living over there. And look, this is another thing that makes me maybe hypersensitive to a lot of these issues, is because I lived outside of the country for a while and I spent some time outside of the country and I got treated very well. And certain things, hold on, let me mute this real quick. All right, I don't want no copyright problems. So, yeah, living outside the country, being outside the country gave me a different perspective on things. I don't know if it's good or bad, but what I wanted to say too, there's another guy who I think is getting treated somewhat unfairly. It's a guy, I know he's not popular and he's very boisterous and considered to be arrogant, but y'all know about Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers, right? So I think right now the Tate brothers are being held up in Bulgaria somewhere over there in Europe. They're being held up on the same kind of something similar, where they're being charged for having women do things for them. They call it like not necessarily abusive women, but using women, like as if they were pimping on them or something like that. Their version of human trafficking or sex trafficking, right, in that country. But then the women, all of the government claimed that they had so many victims of the Tate brothers, so many victims, all of the women they held, and then come to find out it was one woman making up some issue about the brothers. They had these other women that were working for them or whatnot. And these women came out and said, hey, we're not victims. We make our own decisions. These guys are not forcing us to do. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Not at the moment, but I know where you at.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. So the women came out and said, no, these guys didn't force us to do anything, But the government was like, nah, they force you, because they'll keep pressuring women, and a lot of times women will fold a lot faster than a guy will. So you can get a woman to make up anything if you put a lot of pressure on her, and especially police pressure. So I'm just saying that if I was over there, I would speak up against that too, what the Tate brothers are going through, because if a man didn't force a woman, if you don't have like her tied up or a gun to her, to me, she has free will. A woman has free will. Even if a man uses violence or threatens, say, hey, I'm gonna do this, blah, 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 the woman can still get away and run to the police. which is another thing I saw in this indictment that the feds have put out against Diddy. They say that after that hotel incident, he text he texted Cassie saying, "Hey, you don't leave me alone, don't abandon me. The police are here, they're surrounded me." And apparently, I don't know, but it seems like maybe she came to his rescue. She came to his rescue and prevented him from getting into it with the police that were there, right? Now, at that moment, she knows, oh man, he's scared of the police. At that moment, I feel like she could have said, you know what? This guy's put his hands on me too many times. I'ma show him what's up now. He's scared of the police. I think at that moment she could have took advantage. Sheesh. Goodness. She could have gained her power. But when you keep going back, I feel you kind of complicit in it then. Anyway, I'm not into about sound like victim blaming or victim shaming. It's none of that. I'm just saying these particular charges here are just kind of tough for my liking. All right, in Egypt, you can get you a beautiful Middle Eastern woman simply from being an educated American chasing a dream. We only need knowledge. Downtown Amsterdam, apartment, 2-bedroom, 1,800. Knowledge, okay. Soy 6, $20 knowledge. Yeah. Yeah, here in New York for $20, you might get 2 or 3 slices of pizza. I'm good, fam. Appreciate you. Oh, wait, hello. You know? Hey, yeah, we need knowledge. You need knowledge. Knowledge is power, but you need resources too. You know, definitely need knowledge and some resources. Look where we are. I don't know how clear this is for you guys, but may you walk in the streets. Say I'm out here campaigning, right? What a city to campaign in. Yeah. So yeah, the Tate brothers, I think what the Tate brothers are going through, I think that they're being picked on. But I also say, hey, the thing is, people don't like when you're arrogant and when you're cocky. You know what I mean? So these brothers gotta learn that when you getting money, you gotta stay below the radar and just chill, because people will take joy in your downfall. People will take joy in you losing everything just because they feel like they want you to be more humble. You know, you may not even really done nothing wrong, but they'll find something to twist you up on. So I think that's what happened to Andrew Tate, his brothers, and that's a big part of what's happening to Diddy, because say what you want, what he did on the tape is messed up. But it definitely, there's people who do that kind of stuff. You know, if you ask me, I'm going to go ahead and say there's some priests who probably beat their wives. There's police officers who have slapped their wife, firemen. I'm not saying all, you know, and that's not making an excuse for anything. But I'm just saying, when the government wants you, they coming for you. And the law is not equally applied. Your skin color has a whole lot to do with how you get treated in certain regions, certain places, and when it comes to the justice system. You're not getting a fair shake. You still speak with TMI Santiago. He hasn't lost any weight and retired. Niggas, you are. Folks hate a show off. Your folks hate a show off. That's what they went after Muhammad Ali, because he was showing off. Jack Johnson used to show off and smile He was beating people too easy. They had to fix him. They said we gonna get this big bad nigga up out of here. Uh, yeah, it does, man. Nobody can tell me different, and it's not me playing the race card. It's just me telling it how, not just how it is, but how it's been for the last, I don't know how long. And that, and and also, you got a thing where black people hate to see black people succeed too. Black people, you know, are just as bad to each other as anybody else is. Yeah, always fly under the radar. So, Nicholas, about your with TMI, I haven't spoken with TMI recently. I think we might have exchanged a text. Uh, Maybe I want to say a couple weeks ago. You know, he was just hollering at me. You know, he seen me post some videos of me out here in New York, and you know, we just had like a quick little back and forth. But I haven't had a chance to really catch any of his lives. But I know he's out there having a good time. Look, and this is another thing, man. I'm telling you, when you've been in a place like Thailand, he's like, man, you don't even want to come back here for real and deal with all of this craziness. I'm not saying that it's morally good, but in Thailand, you definitely can, a man with means can definitely live in peace even while having multiple women. You know, not to say that women don't get jealous, but they definitely a lot more, what we would say, in pocket over there than here. I don't know over there that a woman would just not give you as much of a hard time for you dealing with other women out there like they do here. You know what I mean? So yeah, here, you know, no matter where you are, you need money. You know, but in here you need a lot more. In Thailand, you don't need as much, so you can live a pretty good life over there with not a lot of money. So I don't blame anybody who's over there who doesn't want to come back to America. And I don't even know if I want to keep saying just the all of Thailand is like that, but particularly Pattaya. We're gonna say Pattaya because, you know, Pattaya, I don't know how many other places in the world are like that. But you can live your life in peace, man. You have a girlfriend in Pattaya and she hears about you with some other woman. You walking out, you might have been walking down the street just talking to somebody, some random stranger. Somebody takes a picture of that and sends it to your girlfriend. Now your girlfriend's mad and, oh, we're breaking up. I don't want to be with you. Blah 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 blah. And then you in Pattaya in Thailand, it's so many. You just say okay, and then you know you got another girl, and then you'll say, and then she'll call back. She'll hit you up maybe the next day or a couple days later. You know, trying to get with you again. So, I mean, you deal with that out there too, but yeah, when it comes to that, America America is just very different, you know. But there's a lot of opportunity here. This New York City is maybe the city, the biggest, probably the biggest city in the world, one of them. Um, Hold up. So yeah, I just mentioned all that to say with TMI over there in Pattaya not coming back to America, I get it. I get it. Beach. It's known that Diddy slapped Drake, who is his kid's age, I saw Nipsey Hussle threaten two everyday people on YouTube living dirty increases a dirty ending. Diddy should have stopped living wrong. Hey, I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna really agree with you on that. You know, I'm agree with you on that, and especially on that Nipsey Hussle thing too, because I really like Nipsey Hussle. Um, and when Nipsey Hussle passed away, it was super sad, man, because he was a good example of an entrepreneur, but he also wasn't perfect either, because I did see some videos of I think maybe somebody he got into it with a couple people, and it wasn't like a pleasant exchange, you know what I mean? It was kind of in an aggressive way, and maybe a little bit of a demeaning way or something like that, if you want to say that. Look, I'm rocking through Bryant Park right now. Um, yeah, we just strolled around the park real quick. So, and for him to pass away the way that he did, it was sad, but it makes people understand that none of us are invincible. I don't want to mess up that lady's picture. None of us are invincible. Master P is a great example of a guy who made his money. He's humble, but he's still active. Said, fake it till you make it. TMI is from Long Island, but fronts like he's from NYC. Okay, I got you. I mean, yeah, I can't speak on Long Island. I don't even know if I've ever been to Long Island, but I know Long Island is not far from here. So the average person from outside wouldn't know the difference. You know, so this, yeah, New York City it is different, man. All of it ain't this though. You know, you got your big tall buildings out here. All of it ain't like this. Just this stretch a few miles, you know. You get outside of here, buildings start getting shorter, smaller, it gets grimier. Hold on. In the words of Pimp C, because I'm a Texas boy, when I change for the best, the shit stopped coming around. Okay, the shit stopped coming around. I've been in 24 countries and 27 states. That's right. All right, I see you, OB. USA is the best place for blacks to make money. I agree. When it comes to making money, America has the most opportunities. Yes, it does. You really can be what you want to be. But living, I don't know about living. I don't know about living. But I'm going to agree with you about the best place to make money. Because in this country, you can be what you want to be. Or at least you have the opportunity to try to be what you want to be. Do you need a passport to go to Long Island? No, Long Island is over that way somewhere, that direction. But probably can get to Long Island from here to Long Island in like 40 minutes maybe. By train, 40 minutes, I believe. Hey, I think this is the infamous park. If I'm not mistaken, Bryant Park, this is the infamous park where after the MTV Music Awards, Tupac and Nas had I don't know if I'll call it a standoff, but they definitely had they had a face to face. They had a talking. You know what I mean? There's a legendary story where Tupac stepped to Nas, him and the Death Row him and his Death Row label mates and entourage. They seen Nas and his people, and Pac went up to him. Word is, he went up to him. He says, "Look, I got a song coming out, dissing you, Biggie, Mobb Deep, dissing all of you." And something happened where they hashed it out, and he said, "You know what? Now this is the word. Is later on he said, you know what? I'm gonna take Nas's name off of it. And I don't know if he took the name off his rec. No, he didn't. He didn't because he left it all. The song name of the song was called "Against All Odds," where he says this little nigga Nas think he live, took five like me, talking like he live, like he left the hospital, took five like me, something like this along those lines. But uh, this is the park where they had that meeting. Somebody fact check me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Bryant Park, from what I heard. Of course, I was a young, uh, a little puppy at that time, so it wasn't like I was here to really see it. You know, yeah, Tupac versus Nas. Okay, you got it. You seek beauty. Hold on. Says, so thanks for admitting the truth, brother. Life is hard, but I appreciate days like this. You did some barbecue and listen to me talk with truth and compassion. Life is what you make it. I seek beauty. That's what's up, Obi. That's what's up, Obi. I appreciate you saying that too. Yeah, man, look, I don't get it right all the time. Sometimes I do speak from the heart, and it might not be the most logical or the most legal or technical way, but my intentions, I think you guys can pick up on my intentions and of what I'm trying to get across. I'm not the most articulate person, or YouTuber or whatnot, but I try to get my point across in a real way. And I just want the minorities to be treated fairly. That's it. Treat them like everybody else. You said New York City, Face Finesta said New York City was deep. West Coast would have lost that day. Yeah, um, because this is the home turf. When you on your home turf, you always usually got the advantage. But the thing about it is, from what I remember, if we go back in history, if people who talking about the whole East Coast West Coast war, because I think, to be honest, I think that the feelings of that time still linger today, which is why you have a lot of people who are happy to see Diddy fall, because he was like the last man standing, and he was what they would consider living a good life, while his adversaries, he had outlasted them and outlived them and made a lot more money than them. Uh, he was the last man standing, so a lot of people didn't like that. But here's what I will say: from what I remember at that time, I don't remember the East Coast really riding, saying in every song like, "Hey man, this the East Coast. We do this. You know what I mean? This come over to the East Coast. We gonna do this and do that to you." It didn't. It's a whole different culture over here. That gangbanging stuff hadn't made its way over here yet. You know what I'm saying? Whereas on the West Coast, gangbanging is more was. I mean, and I don't know if I say all on the West Coast, but particularly like Southern California, LA, gang banging is deep rooted in that culture because a lot of them grow up in it. In New York, the tri-state area, that wasn't something that we were familiar with. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, uh, the whole city didn't stick together like that. You know what I mean? So I don't think people were thinking about riding on the West Coast or riding on Death Row. Now, Nas's group of people, don't get me wrong, if something would have popped off, I don't think Nas's group of people would have just sat there and, you know what I mean, let rough him up now. And yeah, the numbers would have been in Nas's favor, definitely, man. But then you always run the risk that when you got to go to LA, now you got to have extra security when you're in LA because you're on their turf. And that's what ended up happening with the whole, that's what happened with Biggie, in my opinion, is that they happen to be on foreign soil at a time where the people over there hadn't forgiven or forgotten, uh, you know, Tupac's feelings towards a lot of East Coast artists, particularly Biggie and and Puff. Now, and they didn't make it easy either, they didn't make it easy on themselves either when they, you go into somebody else's coast and you popping bottles of champagne, you on the radio, rapping, you sitting, you chilling too hard. You know, in hindsight, being that they were young, they definitely probably thought, oh man, that beef is behind us, is over. You know what I mean? Uh, Pac passed away, Suge's in jail, we good, let's go. You still people over there that got some animosity towards you, man. So they definitely misread and miscalculated that, and unfortunately, you know, Big didn't make it back, man. But um, I think it kind of stopped there. Some people say the West Coast got blackballed for a few years after that because a lot of people were not interested in uh, hearing um, the West Coast the gangster rappers they were, because they felt like it was too antagonistic, too violent, too divisive. Um, and to be honest, I loved at that time. I really loved West Coast music, man. I mean, the Dog Food album. Oh my goodness, the beats on there. Daz Dillinger, the way he produced that album. I was like probably one of the only kids that I know on the East Coast that was heavy into the West Coast music, heavy. And so I could never say nothing bad about the music. I loved it, you know. But I just wish things would have went better for all of them. But this is what it is. And you still got some people who got animosity, man. I feel it too if I go to the West Coast. Uh, I tell people where I'm from. I'm from over here. I can feel sometimes a little shift in, you know, how somebody might look at me, or maybe even, uh, just little things. Not all the time, but sometimes with some people, you can feel that little, oh man, you the competition, that type of thing. You know, let me catch up, brother. You are very face fanatics. Hold on, New York was deep. Okay, you heard Snoop Dogg tell a story crazy. Yup, Nicholas, this is the park right here. Now, I saw an interview with Ed Lover the other day. He said it was Bryant Park. So I'm guessing, it was somewhere here. And this might look a lot different now than what it looked like back then. So I don't know where the award show was at in comparison to here. Maybe I'll find it, but this is the park here. All right, said true. Tupac in a league of his own. I would say Scarface and Nas is a better comparison. Um, Brother, you're very articulate. You should. Man, I appreciate that, Obi. You all right, man? Don't sell my show. I appreciate that, pen. Snoop said Nas let it slide in confrontation with Pac. Yeah, that's the story I heard too. Um, because I heard both Nas tell the story and Snoop, but of course Snoop wasn't the main actor of of that incident, so he has a different perspective of it than Nas. Snoop's, like you said, he said that Pac thought that he punked Nas when he stepped up to him, and I could see that happening, but he didn't realize that Nas had so many people with him behind him. You know what I mean? And he said, really, uh, if they wanted to, Nas could have gave the word and said, "Hey, get him now. Look at this park. To be honest, look at this park, how open it is. You know what I mean? This park is like this park is like pretty open. Like, imagine if you got into it out here, a brawl, and you outnumbered, man. It might be 2 or 3 on one. Even if you got the biggest gangbangers with you, you got the Bloods and the Crips, or you got your whole entourage or whatever. But if you from out of town, chances are, unless you came with 30, 40 people, chances are you ain't gonna win that. And I ain't gonna say that they wouldn't have made it. I ain't gonna say it would have been killing or nothing like that. But definitely when it comes to fighting, you know what I mean, numbers, you usually got a bigger advantage when you're on your home turf. Usually, not all the time. Yeah. And the same thing happened on the West Coast. You know what I mean? You heard that um, they got surrounded at the Soul Train Awards or something like that. When you on somebody else's turf, man, you gotta walk humbly, but at the same time, you still gotta walk tall too, because if you gotta fight, you gotta fight. You know what I mean? No matter where you at, you gotta be able to throw hands. You said banging. Penn said banging is a way of life. Yeah, on the West Coast it definitely is, and I found that out because I used to wonder, like, man, why are guys keep joining gangs, and if they know it's just leading to death and destruction? You know what I mean? Nothing ever comes out of uh a conflict when it's Bloods and Crips. That's how I used to think when I was younger, because I didn't really know. It was, but then, as I said, as I got older and I started traveling, I started meeting people who were real Bloods and who were real Crips, who grew up in it, and I realized, like, oh damn, your whole family is Blood, your whole family is Crips. That's why you just grew up in it. Like, you didn't know nothing else. You just knew Blood your whole life, and you knew Crip your whole life. So it wasn't even really a choice for you. That's what you notice about those on the West Coast. With the likes, I appreciate them likes. Thank you for them thumbs up. True, the boroughs are divided. Yeah, the boroughs are divided. But in New York too, you got people. At least back then, I remember a lot of people claiming blocks. People like, yo, this our block and this their block, because there's so many people on one block. As opposed to Astoria Queens versus Jamaica Queens, or uh, you know Queensbridge versus Marcy or something like that, or Bedford Stuyvesant. You know what I mean? Uh, not so much like that. On the East was more hip hop. Yeah, yeah. It was more hip hop over here than being in a gang. You know what I mean? And if you were in a gang, it was like your neighborhood. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, these guys are wearing red and we wear blue. You wasn't identified like that. And also, there's a difference in the culture too, because of the weather. Over here, we go through winter, where you have time where it's like a lot of people indoors and things like that during the winter time. So we spend our time doing different things. You ain't got the space to do drive-bys and things like that. So people over here just did things differently. If you had a conflict with somebody, it wasn't that loud. You know what I mean? You didn't have. It's just the landscape is different, everything. We in the Midwest. Oh, Nicholas, you say in the Midwest you feel left out, and you from Columbus, Ohio. Hey, man, we know that how the Midwest get down. The Midwest produced some of the biggest gangs. A lot of the gangster stuff, from what I understand, started in the Midwest. It was a lot of mobsters out there in the Midwest, man. Back in the day, you know what I mean, in Chicago and all of that. And but I would say, as far as what I know about people in the Midwest, especially the black people, they produce a lot of good fighters. A lot of the best boxers come from the Midwest. You know what I mean? Look, Don King comes from Ohio. A lot of people don't like Don King and they talk bad about Don King, but I'm going to give Don King his props and his flowers, because Don King put on some of the best fights that boxing ever seen, and Don King got some of these boxers the most money that they'd ever seen. You would hear a lot of people say that Don King took a lot of money and this and that, but a lot of them didn't have a lot of money before they got with him. You know what I mean? He definitely promoted and was one of the greatest promoters ever. He came out of jail and he came out of prison for manslaughter, and he made something out of himself. So to me, I give Don King his props for what he did for boxing. Now, would I feel that way if I signed into a contract with him and I didn't like the way the contract went? Probably not. But as a man that's being fair and objective, I salute Don King for being a great boxing promoter. I don't know what else he is, but as far as a boxing promoter, the man did his thing. He put on the biggest fights, the Thriller in Manila, you know. So and oh, in Ohio also you guys got um Al Heyman. Al Heyman is probably the most respected promoter ever. Not just in boxing, but there's a lot of people in the music industry that talk good about Al Heyman. I don't think I've heard anybody talk bad about Al Heyman, except his competition. I always hear people after all of the fights. You hear the fighters say, "Hey, I would like to thank God and I thank Al Heyman." You know, so he must have done a lot of good for people. So these are people that came out of the Midwest, out of Ohio. You know what I mean? And don't forget, you guys got LeBron James too. MSG Award Show, Madison Square Garden Award Show. That's what it was, Face. All right. Dire poverty, man. They didn't see a way out. Mayweather's from the Midwest. Yup. From Grand Rapids. So Muhammad Ali was from Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, Joe Louis. Joe Louis was from the Midwest. He was from Michigan. But the greatest fighter, pound for pound, that everybody say the greatest pound for pound was Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson came out of Michigan, Detroit. So yeah, don't feel left out. You know, some great bands, great musicians came out of the Midwest. I think the Gap Band. You know, Charlie Wilson. Y'all know Uncle Charlie. But yeah. But at some point, everybody want to come to New York and tear the house down. Hey. It's a combination. MJ was from Gary. Yeah, man. Michael Jackson is the biggest artist that ever. He's the most famous, known artist that ever lived. The biggest was Michael Jackson. From what I understand, Gary, Indiana, it was not a nice place, man. That was a little rough little city there back in those days. So Michael Jackson came up out of the. He really came from the hood. He did, and that's another example that I was talking. So we leaving Bryant Park now. Next time I'm gonna find out where that interaction happened with Nas and Pac. I'm gonna do a little bit of research. So yeah, Michael Jackson came from Gary, Indiana, which he didn't come from wealth. He didn't come from trust funds and things like that. So they had to really get it out the mud. Their parents really pushed them and pushed them and pushed them, and they became huge. And by the way, rest in peace, since you mentioned Michael Jackson, rest in peace to Tito Jackson. A great guitarist, in the Jackson 5, man. Tito was one of the of course, the original members of the Jackson 5. Was their guitar player. So rest in peace to him and condolences to his family. Gary is an hour from Chicago, so the city had money then because there was Chicago was booming for years. If I'm wrong, someone please correct me. Yeah, if it was close to Chicago, definitely. I mean, even to this day, Chicago is still one of the major cities in America. If I'm not mistaken, is Chicago maybe the fourth biggest or fourth most populated in the U.S.? It's definitely up there. But yeah, Chicago. So yeah, the Midwest, man, everywhere, there's something about everywhere. And as we were saying before, that America is a place where you can start with nothing and you can make yourself into something. You know, you look like there's something for everybody. You just got to find out what it is and tap into it and work hard and grind at it. And you'll get, look, in America, we have a welfare system. If there's people out here who don't have food, don't have money for food, you can fill out some paperwork and you can get some kind of, they give you money for food. It's not cash that they give you, but it's like you get some kind of, like some benefits. EBT, we call it, a SNAP, right? In America, you get that. If nowadays, I give Obama his credit. I'm not the biggest Obama fan. We're going to keep pushing. I'm not the biggest Obama fan, but Obama did finally help to try to improve the healthcare system by giving people healthcare who couldn't afford it, because healthcare was so expensive here in America that a lot of people couldn't afford it. So you got people who have access to free healthcare now, right? If you want to get dental work done, you could go get some dental work, basic stuff. What else do we have here? We have there's housing, not for all people, but for some people. In some cases, if they meet the qualifications, they can get put into some apartments where they only got to pay $100 a month or something like that. So America has a lot of resources. I don't like when America gives so much money though out in foreign aid, when there's a lot of people here that still need that help, you know. But I understand it's all politics, and if you're not in the government, if you're not in one of those positions of power, then you can't really dictate or determine where those resources go. And me being out here in New York, these last few back and forth these last few weeks, it's really opened my eyes to a lot. You really, you get to really see, we already knew who was in power, but you really get to see it when you're out here and you listen to the conversations that people are having, and you're like, damn, that's okay. I see why those billions of dollars went to Ukraine, or I see why those billions of dollars went to Israel. It's because those are the people that are making the decisions. You know what I mean? If you were from Nigerian descent, even if you were American citizen, and you got in a position of power and it was enough of you in there, you might say, hey, Nigeria needs some aid. We're going to do some business with Nigeria, or another part of Africa. Wherever your lineage is coming from, that's where you're most likely going to send those resources. You know? So you said, according to Google, Gary, Indiana is 30 miles from Chicago, Illinois. Damn. Chicago is the third largest city. Okay. I had it as the fourth. It's the third largest. Yeah, you think the Dems and Republicans right now are in agreement with, we have no money to help others right now. Inflation makes people start asking questions. Same pale skin. Yeah, Penn. No, this is true. You know, the Democrats and the Republicans, it's all about who's pulling the strings behind the groups, who has the most influence in those groups, man. And me, this trip, I really see we truly are I am part of a minority group. And, I just, even here, I just walk down the street and I see how many people look like me. Right now, I see maybe one in the midst of like 30 people. So, a lot of times things ain't gonna go in your best way or in your interest. which is why it is important to vote too, because if, you got to use that little vote, even if you don't think your vote matters. You might as well vote because you never know. If you don't vote, you can't complain. If I could live anywhere in the U.S., where would I choose? Ooh, man, this is tough, man. Because I like and hate everywhere. I love and hate everywhere. This city right here, man, it really is. It's a massive city. It is. It's an inspiring place. You know what I mean? But then I see a lot of the BS that goes on too. Um, there's little microaggressions. Uh, a lot of stereotypes you got to fight through out here sometimes. But I like New York, but I ain't gonna lie, man, Southern California, the weather that they got in Southern California is enough to kind of make you want to stay there for a while. The weather is nice and the scenery is nice. It's just so damn expensive to live in Cali. Cali is just super expensive. And hold on, let me get away from this. People on the street playing music. It's the Vanderbilt. You know what? I'm gonna go up in here, man. It's a nice. We're gonna go on a little detour real quick. And hold on, I'm gonna put the phone on mute just so I don't get copyrighted. Hey. All right, but I'm at. They getting down. Thank you. All right. So to finish answer your question, Jersey. Jersey is, of course, not like New York as far as the buildings and things like that. But as far as living, you got better living conditions over there. There's a lot more nature over there. In Miami. So I'm gonna say, man, I like New York. It's so big and diverse. There's a lot going on. LA for the weather. I like the weather and the scenery in Southern California. Miami, I really like too. And Hawaii. I like Hawaii. Used to live there. Now, and what I want to say too, it's all relative because everywhere has its pros and cons. If I was an old man, I would say this. If I was an old man, when I get old, God willing, if I live to see, 60, 70 years old, I think that Hawaii and Miami is the best. Hawaii is like a place where you go for retirement just to kick back. Here in New York, I don't think you want to be here as an old man unless you're doing business. That's it. Like a city like this, unless you're doing business, then you might want to be here. But hey, check this. This is like the Vanderbilt building or something like that. Train, you come here, catch the trains. All right, let me catch up. So yeah, I'm sorry, Nicholas, if I couldn't give you a straight answer, man, because I like so many. I ain't been to Texas yet, for real. And I hear that Texas is nice. I hear in Texas you could get a nice little mini mansion for for a couple $100,000. I hear Texas, everything is big in Texas. You can get a nice size home, $200,000-300,000. You can't get nothing over here for $200,000-300,000. Maybe you get a one bedroom apartment or something. You said Nicholas' mom would be either Seattle, Denver, Montana, Utah, or Wyoming. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Obi likes peace and serenity. Obi 32. He likes peace and serenity. He like the mountains, Utah. Yeah, nature guy. Seattle is dark for 10 months of the year. Is that a good? Does that make the people depressed? How you doing, man? Shalom. Does does that make the people depressed up in Seattle? Atlanta, Georgia, South Florida, SoCal. Yeah, okay. So I agree with you on the South Florida, SoCal. Atlanta. I ain't been to Atlanta in a lot of years, so I really don't know what it's like right now. But Atlanta, I remember you could get a nice property, a nice house for what we would consider cheap in Atlanta, or on the outskirts of Atlanta. And I hear Atlanta is just a real good city, man. I don't know. It's just not on the top of my. It's not in. I don't even think it's in my top five unless I go there today, and I'm like, and I start exploring like how I do now. I find something to get into. I like it. Said, oh, but you would like to visit Cali? Yeah. Said New Yorkers usually retire in Florida. That's true. Down there they call us the snowbirds. If you go down, if you go from up here to down to Florida, even from Canada, a lot of people during the wintertime will go down to Miami, and they call them the snowbirds. Big houses, big people. Yep. Wow. 6 years ago, Texas was cheap like that, but not anymore. Atlanta is chocolate city, and outskirts get good value for money. Up 300,000 in Texas, big cities, you get a 1,400 square foot home, which is small to me because 6 years ago you could get 2,000 square feet for that price. Okay. Yeah, that inflation. All right. Yeah. Man's getting his Mac on. This is a cool little meetup spot right here, man. I think I might have to come back in here, uh, hang out. I wonder if they got a restaurant or something in here. You got a Knick fan. As bad as the Knicks are, she wearing that Knicks sweatshirt proudly. Man. But yeah, here's what I'm saying, man. The demographics of people of color is not very high around here. You know. Oh, congrats. I've seen a lot of people taking some wedding pictures today. Get them congratulations. Yeah, Georgia has good weather and not prone to natural disasters, and Atlanta is a cool city. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, this is wow, she's really tall with heels. It's real funny when I'm in the city and I see somebody, might see another black person. I'll speak to them. I'll say, hey, what's up? Or just to spark up a little conversation. And then they start speaking a whole nother language. And I'm like, oh, I forget, like they're tourists. So not everybody is speaking, not everybody is from here, you know? So I always get a kick out of that, hearing different accents. You know what I mean? I just seen these three black girls pass by and they were speaking, it was sounding to me like French. So even if I would have said, hey, hello, how you doing? They probably wouldn't have got what I was saying. Hold on. It was your house good. Like that Miami downtown has like 20% gratuities at every restaurant, even at Chili's. So a hamburger With a date, yeah. I forgot about that in Miami. So you gonna travel around U.S. streaming? It's closed door. I might, I might, you know, to be honest, I don't know. Um, I want to definitely find a way to really get paid to travel, and then I can do some streaming in different cities and things like that, and go to a restaurant, give reviews or something. So yeah, I would like to, but I'm more interested. I'm more interested in being overseas, man. I definitely, and the name of the channel is Passport Show, so I definitely wanna wanna stretch that out and put it to use. Yeah, grill that burger at home, $4 a pound. Said forget the They said forget the restaurant. But yeah. So I have to say too, I think I remember Atlanta having some good food down there. A lot of soul food restaurants down there. Of course, more than you'd find up here. In fact, in this area, like Midtown Manhattan, if I don't know if you eat soul food or something like, you're not gonna find that here. You'd have to go to like Harlem or Brooklyn, maybe some places in the Bronx. But here, as far as Italian food, oh, you can't lose. If you like pasta and all that. All right, we're gonna. So right now, this Lexington Ave, not too far from Park Ave. Bedroom around the corner. Yeah, yeah. You know, you know what I need to do? I wanna find out where do the Japanese hang out. I wanna find out where the Japanese hang out. Go work on and practice my Japanese. You know, I've noticed when I'm speaking Japanese, if I come across a Japanese, they get shocked. They're like, "Oh, why do you know that? Why are you speaking that? Like, where did you learn that?" I'm like, "Yeah, they just wasn't expecting it." Bedroom. But yeah. Oh, look, the new Brinks. So what time is it where everybody is? What's the weather like? Let me know what's going on in your part of the world. We we talked about the Diddy thing, and I know if anybody watches the stream later, they're gonna be like, man, this guy started rambling and talking about um, traveling and things like that. But yeah, we could switch topics. Yeah. You won't find many these days because of the yen. Oh yeah, the yen is down right now. The yen is very weak. You absolutely right. That is a very good point, Penn. I tell you, Penn. A couple years ago, I don't want to say a couple. It was more than a couple. But I was in Japan, and I remember the yen. The yen was strong. It was par on par with the dollar. Like 1 yen was worth 1 penny. And then there was a point. I think before Obama became president, I think George Bush was still president, and like the early part of um, Obama's first term, the dollar was weak because of the war in Iraq. Everybody was like protesting against America. The oil prices were up. The dollar was weak, so the yen was strong. So I remember, I might have ran into some tough times in Japan. I needed family to send me some money, uh, or friends that could send me some money. But when they would send that money, it wasn't really, it didn't have the same buying power, you know. So the yen was very strong at that time. So that is a good point. You probably saw more Japanese over here then, but now the yen is so weak. I don't know what happened. The yen is so weak. If I asked a friend from Japan to, hey, can you, I'm trying to do something. You want to get in on this, or uh, can you send me a little stimulus package to help out? you know, that that money don't come is not as strong as it would have been probably a couple years ago. So you're right about that. Good time to go to Japan. Yeah, it's right now is a great time to go to Japan. If you got some dollars, man. You right now I think $1 is like 140 yen or something like that, or 130 something yen. So you can really you can do some damage over there. You can have a very good time and be in nice hotels and everything over there for without having to kill yourself with the spending, you know. And I appreciate everybody who gave me the thumbs up too. 70 or 80, yep, 70 or $80 for, yep, South Korea happened. So, have you heard of YouTube channel called International Passport? No, I haven't. Should I check it out? I'm gonna check that out. So I like this right here. This building. Got MetLife back there. I know this with the red, white, and blue. No, I haven't heard of International Passport. So I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. Hold on. I was gonna go down Park Avenue right here, but we close to the Diamond District. Let's go to the, what's it? Hey, bro, I can get through here, right? All right. I don't know. Sometimes these roads are like blocked off. All right. So international passport. International passport. I'm gonna check that out. Let me screenshot that right now so I can remember. You said best time in over 3 decades. I agree. Fell asleep. It's all good, Anthony. You took a muscle relaxer. Hey man, sometimes you gotta get your rest, man. I appreciate y'all jumping on here with me, man. It's been about 2 hours of me just rambling. You know, we talked about the justice system today, about the biases. Then we, not just here, but in different parts of the world too. We talked about the Diddy thing a little bit. Probably get on that again later at another date. What's up, man? Okay, what's going on? Yeah, there's a brother called Theo who spent 10 years in Japan. He's a co-host. They get brothers to talk about their experience living internationally. Oh man, that sounds awesome. I might need to check that out. I'd like to talk with that guy, Theo. There we go. It's just a show. Yeah, Theo. Look at all these buildings that they're putting up. So, you know, I heard that a lot of them, even when they're complete, there's going to be a lot of empty rooms in there, a lot of empty offices. So, what jobs are coming? But y'all see this area here. This is like Midtown Park. This is mostly like where you see the more like the Jewish area. you know, in here. You see some Asians sprinkled throughout, but you know whose area this is. You go down there, you going if you go down that street a couple blocks down there, you're gonna come across Billionaires Row, right at the bottom of Central Park. The most expensive apartment is a few blocks from here, and it's the name of the building. I think it's called Central Park Tower, and the apartment went for like $100 and something million. It's a two-story apartment at the very top. All right, let me go. Just a little random fact. You know, hey, and I'll tell you another difference. Hold on, let me catch up. This is a brother. Okay, Theo Waff. Okay, good group of brothers. Okay, I'm gonna check. Do they? And you said they have guests on there sometimes. Okay, I'll see if I can catch a show, one of their live streams if they do a live stream. Yeah, but LA, I'll tell you, if I compare New York to LA. LA definitely got the better weather. I think that's hands down. LA got the weather, you know. Um, New York got the convenience though, because in New York, you know, you can take trains and you can kind of cut out all the traffic if it's rush hour and stuff like that. Not so much over in LA, but another thing, you know, what I noticed, yeah, we got a lot of crazy people here too, but LA, they got that area. I don't know if you heard of Skid Row. Oh my goodness, there's like a block on that side of the street. It's all nice, and you got your expensive stores, your jewelry shops, and then right over here you just got a whole bunch of tents. There's people just lined up in tents, cardboards. A lot of the homeless out there, you know, and I mean, you might be walking and you might see somebody taking a dump right there. Um, Somebody in the corner getting hot, you know. So LA had a lot of that, and I was really I don't know if I say I was shocked, but it was a different experience for me. All right, so I'm about to show y'all what they call the Diamond District. He said, yeah, they have a guest on live streams. Okay, BBK, you can get high in luxury condo for less than 2,000. Oh yeah, what is that? What is BBK? Is that Bangkok? No, what is BBK? In NYC, for that, you can only get a box room. That's right, a box room in somebody's house, maybe in a basement somewhere. You know what I mean? You're in a basement where you ain't really got no window or something. And that's why, look, if that 2,000 a month is coming from like online work or something like that, uh, I mean, if you able to work remotely is what I'm trying to really say, then Thailand is a better place to live. You get way more bang for your buck than here. Yeah, BBK, Bangkok, yep. Yep. All right, I'm gonna show y'all right here. This is you know, when you come down here, see, this thing is shut down right now because it's late. They shut down around 5, but this is the Diamond District. You come here, you're gonna see all of the jewelry stores and, you know, people selling stones, diamonds, and like here. She's closing up, putting their stuff away. Yeah, it don't look like nothing right now, just because it's closed. But yep, this is it. So they said this is the second largest diamond district in the world. I think the first one is in Belgium somewhere, Antwerp, something like that, and then New York is the second biggest, and then I think LA. Know, but I still say if you wanna get you some diamonds for a real good price, go to Africa, where they come from. The natural diamonds. Rent is too damn high in NYC. I agree, but I think LA is worse. I think LA might be worse. The thing that got me being in LA was them damn gas prices. I mean, just for a regular sedan, you want to fill up, you spending damn near $80 just to fill your tank up. I'm like, damn. And I like to do a lot of driving out there, renting cars. And it's Friday too, man. I was thinking, I didn't know if I was gonna go out tonight, go to one of the clubs, the lounges or something like that, but you know, the vibe just ain't the same, but it's still fun. But it ain't the same. Who's this? This guy sitting there. Yeah. Certain parts of Miami too, the rent is crazy. You go to Brickell. Hey, do any of y'all know it's a place called Tracks NYC? It's like a famous guy, he's a jeweler. He goes on he's pretty popular on social media. But this is the shop right here. Tracks NYC. This little shop right there. Yeah, and then you go into these offices, there's a bunch of jewelers and people making jewelry and diamonds, but a lot of shady business going on around here too. You know that. A lot of shadiness going on. And they're right here. Yeah. Said blood diamonds, yeah, of course that too. Definitely, of course, blood diamonds. Do you remember a couple weeks ago, I think it was like the biggest diamond in the world was found in what's it called? Not Namibia, not Zimbabwe. Come on, what is it? It was not Malawi. I feel like, damn it. It wasn't Botswana. But anyway, I forget which country the biggest diamond was just found. And it's a shame. The person who found the diamond probably didn't get much for it because they turned it over to the government and probably didn't get anything. Maybe got their name put on a plaque or something. But if that diamond is ever sold, it damn sure ain't gonna sell for what it should sell for. And I hope that country that diamond was found in, I hope they really benefit from it and don't just let some outsiders come and take it from them for a couple dollars, Well, yeah. Yeah, Botswana. Okay, it is Botswana. All right. Botswana, the biggest diamond in the world, and the biggest piece of gold, one of the biggest chunks of gold that was found less than a year ago. I think that was in, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Ghana, one of these places. And they took the gold from the people who found it. It was like, yo, this is not your property. You can't, you know. And they took it from them. Snatch it. Yeah, Uganda. You right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, one monkey don't stop no show. My man, he out here streaming too with his gimbal. All right, so y'all know what we getting close to. Y'all know what we getting close to. Yeah. All right. So here we. If you ever come out here and you want to go to a little Broadway show or something, Broadway play. Oh, speaking of that, I got a damn ticket to a comedy show that I forgot to go to. I might go over there and go see what's up. Yeah, that's what I should go do. Go check out this comedy show real quick. Let me make sure I can find that ticket. Yeah. It's right here. The Grizzly Pear. Midtown, okay. Grizzly Pear is on 54th Street. Ah, damn, I'm kind of far from that right now. I don't even know if I want to go look for that. There we go. Look at this. The world famous Times Square. It's the world famous Times Square. Everybody else said, what's up, bro? All right, let me move. Boom, 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 boom. You know, she loves New York. I know. I'm gonna say,
Good morning, babe.
I need to learn how to speak Chinese next.
I don't remember the rest of mine.
All right, all right.
Hurry. Look like that. Hurry up.
Hey, what's up, bro?
What's going on? You got ticket?
Well, it's not
Huh?
You got ticket?
Ticket for what?
One of the show?
No, yeah, I'm living here.
Oh, all right.
All right, bro. Yeah, trying to sell me a ticket. Hey. And that's what you see when you come to New York. You see a little bit of everything. What's up? Do I think trend or more? Do I think a trend of more passport bros like Austin, Parliament going to Africa? What do I think about that? I think it's good and bad. It's good if the brothers go out there with good intentions. If passport bros go to Africa with good intentions, I think it's good. But if they go there just to, you know, just to kind of like showing the bad side of the passport bros, then it's not good. But I think from what I've seen on Austin Holloman, go over there. I'm glad he went to Africa, back to Kenya. I was following his story a little bit because he seems to be happier. He was complaining a lot when he was in Brazil. He was, or he was he was complaining when he was in those European countries. When he would go to those European countries like Spain and all these places, and the women wouldn't really giving him a lot of attention. You know, he had a problem with that. He went to Turkey, you know, and then he got with that dude James, which I think was good for him because James is a older guy, and I think he could give him a little bit more guidance and just help him to grow up a little bit more. I thought he was very immature with a lot of his videos and things like that. Not too long ago, but I think being around an older guy that put him under his wing, Austin has matured very quickly, and I think the way they treat him in Africa is good. So yeah, I do think. And look, it's hard for me to really speak on it really too deeply because I haven't been to Africa yet, you know. But from what I understand and from what I know, Africa is the future, and Africa is a place that we should go. We should definitely check out the motherland. Because Africa is so big, man. Africa is probably like, I think 20 times bigger than the United States. Hold on. They were kind of talking loud in my ear. I'm gonna let them pass me. So yeah, the passport bros going to Africa, I think is good. I remember there was one brother, a YouTuber. He was a rapper from Oakland, or either Oakland or San Francisco, and he was the first one that I saw from here that was making YouTube content. I think his name, if I'm not mistaken, it was JT the Bigger Figure out of California. Hold on, I'm looking for this 54. Okay, so I gotta go another block or two. So yeah, he was one of the first that went to Africa, and he was filming his experiences over there, and he bought some land and was building it up and like building up a whole little village. So I think it is a good idea. That might be, to be honest, you know, a lot of the people that are here, that might be the place where we should be looking towards for the future. I don't know how the laws are, and I also heard that well, I know this to be true because when you go to places like Thailand, that of course it may not be as developed. You know, you're gonna go some places where you might not have electricity all throughout the day. You know, your electricity might turn off 1 or 2 hours out the day. So so yeah, that would be my take on Africa. That's my take. Damn, I don't know what that building is right there, but that must be a hotel or something. Gotta find a ticket. And UBS. Man. Yeah. Yep. He said, yo, what up? How you doing, brother? Doing all right. What's up, Jose? Long time. As you can see, out here in NYC. Yeah, Jose. How you doing? You still out there in Thailand? Yeah, Jose. See, it's dope seeing some of the people, the same people when I first started this channel and I was jumping on live, man. You guys come in and jump in the chat and hang out. Appreciate y'all so much. Yeah. This is what you see out here in New York. A lot of the steam coming from the subway in the middle of the street. Yeah, really, I should be going this way. Yeah, long time, man. Good to see you, man. Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah, Thailand. We going back to Thailand in a few months. We already got Thailand lined up unless something comes up. Oh, Thailand and Malaysia. I'm going to Malaysia in December. Yep. Yep. So definitely good to see you, man. Look, you know, as I said, this is nothing like being there in Pattaya. You know, so you can't compare none of that to this. What's a grander city? A much bigger city, more to do? Here, of course, 100%. But would you rather be here or be on the beach? Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. Sweet tooth might be acting up looking at all these pastries. Where would you rather be? On the beach, drinking a coconut, or here? It depends on your mindset too, man. This is a city where you really, when you trying to get it, trying to get that money, you gotta be here. So the girls, especially the girls. You said what? So you gonna stay in Pattaya again? Yeah, I think in the beginning I'm a be in Pattaya, but I'ma also go to Phuket. I'm gonna go to Phuket for like, you know, here go the thing. I might go to Phuket and end up not wanting to leave. But if I go to Pattaya, I already know I'm gonna be stuck because Pattaya, even when you tell yourself, oh, I gotta leave, I'm getting out of here, somehow you find yourself expanding your time, you're extending your stay. Y'all see TMI Santiago still over there. You know, everybody that I met over there is still there. Say, you want to be like you want to grow up, bro? Hey, man, now, hey, I appreciate you saying that, but you could be better. You could be better than me. You know, you could be better than me. Do I miss the girls shouting? Hustleman, man, yeah, man. Look, here, you don't hear it. Look, don't get me wrong. Here, I get the stares. You know what I mean? I get the stare, but you don't never know. It's almost, I got to confirm an approach or confirm a talking. It's tricky, you know, it's hit or miss. But in Pattaya, you know, it's all the way. You know, here, women are not just jumping at you unless you're in a club somewhere, or maybe if you go, like I said, you go down to Times Square, or if it's a bunch, you know, it's a group of women or something like that. But if this was Thailand, y'all know right now, if this was Pattaya right now, you know, the girls would be jumping out and grabbing on you and either trying to pull you in the bar or trying to go home with you. You know, here, people, of course, like they said before, you know, the people got more money here, so it's like the women aren't as desperate, if that's the proper term to use. They're not as, you know, but Pattaya is just a whole nother animal. There's nothing you can compare to it. You know what I mean? Even though it's a poor place, you don't feel it's not, you're not inconvenienced at all. You know, New York. All right, I say here the women in New York, and not only just New York, but probably in the states, are a lot more serious. You know, they're a lot more serious about things and sensitive. You know, so things don't move as fast here in that way. It said go to Phuket first. Show about to cry. Yeah, man, I'm about to cry because I miss it. I miss it so much. You know what I mean? You heard TMI cancel his DR trip. Halloween says he's continuing to stay. I get it. I totally get it. And look, I hung out. Me and TMI hung out once or twice. I think maybe twice we hung out. Maybe once. But we came across each other maybe two times or something like that. So, hanging out with TMI, I totally understand why he would say, hey, forget everywhere else, I'm staying here. Because, I mean, in Thailand, everybody, you know, Thailand, everybody get a shot and get treated. Every man gets treated good over there, every man. And in New York, it's just a different mentality. Here it's just so rough that, like, and there's so many people, and you know, here you got to be rude to people. It's just normal to be rude. Thailand is the total opposite. People are nice. It's the land of smiles. Like Richie Mack said, a lot of people don't, I know a lot of people don't really like Richie Mack. Hold on. Yeah. A lot of people don't really, hold on, I got to find this place here. 243. Oh, I'm close. I'm somewhere close. It must be, oh, right there. Richie Mack, a lot of people don't, are accusing Richie Mack of selling dreams about Thailand. He's saying that Thailand ain't what they portray it to be, and this and that. Look, man, Thailand is great, but it is for majority of people what you call pay for play. You know what I mean? A lot of times you'll find out that as far as the men go, those women that are jumping out at the men, that are hanging out with the men, spending time with the men, a lot of them are there for a purpose, and it ain't necessarily love. You know what I mean? So most guys gotta have that understanding before they go there, that yes, you can find a good companion out in Thailand. It's very easy to find a companion, but to find a genuine one that ain't just trying to squeeze you, that's a different story. And it also depends on how long you staying there. If you're only there for a vacation, if they feel like, oh, you only just here for a vacation, so I'm not gonna see you, but only this time, yeah, they want to get paid. They want to get paid for spending whatever amount of time with you, you know. But if they feel like, oh, you're gonna be here for a while, you know, oh, you live here, you're gonna this, you got an opportunity to build a lot more genuine relationships with people. They want the mighty dollar. Yes, they do. They do. Now, I would tell you though, you find you like anywhere, you find someone who ain't looking for that. But at some point, a man gonna have to pay, man. You gotta pay for something. Like at some point, you're gonna have to pay a phone bill. You're gonna have to, you know, if you want the relationship to last, you're gonna have to pay for housing and clothing and everything, food. You gotta provide. All right, let me see what these people on right here. Oh, from 7 to 9 is happy hour. Let me see. Oh, it's free, but they try to charge me. Oh, let me ask. I'm good. I'd gotten this the other day, but I never used it. So I wanted to, and it did rip. When is this eligible?
We have another show tonight we can go to. We have one at 9.
we
Yeah.
have shows every night, 7 to 9.
7 to 9? Okay, and it's
It's
just
just in the
coming.
back room, yeah. So
Okay.
we have a show tonight if you want to go to that one and like less than an hour, or if you want to come another day, you can. Any day
Okay,
though.
so anytime from 7 to 9.
No, we have two shows. One's at 7 and one's at 9.
Okay, got you,
Yeah.
got you. So they last for about an hour or so?
About an hour and 20 minutes, I'd
Okay.
say. 7, 8:30, 9 to 10:30.
Okay, and that's every day? Okay, okay,
Yep.
okay.
Every day, actually, well, except Mondays right now, because we're doing like a dark theme.
Okay,
But yeah,
okay.
but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay,
That's not
okay.
Monday.
All right, I got you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank you. So I'm gonna keep it. All right. All right, thank you. All right. So y'all see what that is. If you want her to quit serving dudes on the daily, you gotta pay up. Yup. Pen, that is a great point that is a very accurate point that you bring up. And I hope that more we'll go around. I hope that more of what you call the passport bros or the brothers, the single brothers that go to Thailand, I hope they take that into consideration when dealing with a woman who you met in a bar. If you met her in a bar or like a hostess bar or one of these places and she was working there, and if you want her to give up her work, you're gonna have to replace that income that she was making. She was dealing with different male customers where she was talking to or having to entertain or whatnot. And here a new guy comes along and he's really into her and he's like, oh man, I want this to be my woman. Hey man, the only way you can pull that off is if you replace all of the money that she she used to make. Now you're gonna have to you're gonna have to pay that. She may not have made a lot of money. She might have only made $1,000 a month or something like that, but now you gotta replace that. Ooh, I ain't gonna lie, these sweets look but too good. It's good. What time do you close? 24? Okay, thank you. Gracias. Alright. Yeah, you gotta pay. She's serving 3 digits a month. Yeah, so whatever she making, if you say, hey, look, I don't want you going to the clubs anymore. I don't want you going out with your girls getting drunk every night. I want you to stay here. You know? I want you to hey, let's go here, let's go there. All that time that she's spending with you, it's a bill. You got to be paying for things. Not only you paying for that time, but you got to give some kind of security for her to feel like, oh, why am I giving up my old life for this guy? Do I really love him that much to just give up everything I was doing? And hey, like you said, that's where that term pay for play comes. Oh, I don't know. Were y'all into there was a guy named Tom Young. I've been finding out about these guys. Tom Young was the guy that got into it with Richie Mack. And Richie, they got into it. And this guy Tom Young, he has a YouTube channel. And you know, all on his YouTube channel, I thought when I watched his channel, I feel like, man, this guy's a hater. You know what I mean? Nothing that anybody does is all right. Like, he always finding something that a passport bro or brother that's doing, tearing him down. But I was listening to one of the main points that he was making. He does do a lot of hating, but I was listening to one of his main points, and he's right about a lot of these guys that go out to Thailand. They call themselves passport bros and this and that, and they get online and they show themselves with these nice Thai women, and they make it seem like, oh, everything is all great and this and that, but the the uh, the reality of it is these guys are paying for these women to participate in these things and participate in their life. They're paying, you know. Um, these guys are because, as I said, if you know, if you happen to meet a young lady and she's working in uh, a massage place, or she's working in a hostess bar, or she's working in whatever club or bar you met her in, and if you like her and you want to pull her away from that, you gotta pay. It just is what it is. There's no love. Money is sent home to build a house. Yep. Yeah, they're not really their girlfriend. It's just YouTube clicks. Yes. Yes. I realize it. Now, in the beginning, and this is just man talk right now. This is man talk. So forgive me if there's any women in here listening, but this is just man talk. You know, in the beginning, you get out to Thailand, whether you know you in Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, wherever you are. You know, the women will be on you, and you'll be feeling real good about yourself. You'll be feeling like the man, you know. But it's only a matter of time when you realize, like, yo, either this is gonna be just my turn, or if I want to keep this, I'm gonna have to really start making some family plans, and gonna have to start saying, hey, who you're gonna get broke. You're gonna have to spend some money. You're gonna have to send that money that you giving her. She's sending it back home to build a house. You just gotta figure out which one you're gonna build that house with, because that house is gonna get built. You know, that house is gonna get built. Now that is in certain places. Now, like I said, you go to Pattaya. Pattaya is known for having you know, working ladies. I ain't saying everybody out there is into that, but it's a good chunk, a good portion, right? So they come from other areas to work, to get money from tourists, bring it back home. They got kids and whatnot, so they're looking for that. They're looking for that one. But if you like, hey, I like you. We gonna stick together. I want to go see your family and this and that. Yeah, you can do that, but it's all gonna cost you. It's all gonna cost. And I appreciate the thumbs up as we're live in New York City. You know, the original topic today was, do you think P Diddy should get bail? We talked about that. I said, yeah. There's a few people who said, nah, you know, but, you know, and we also talked about a little bit of the injustices in the justice system, you know, not just here in the U.S., but abroad. Paramount Plaza. And then we segued into, you know, we got into it about Tupac a little bit. Nas. We went to Bryant Park. You know, made our way through the Vanderbilt station, and then strolled through the Diamond District. Now we back in the square. And then we talked about talked about Thailand and passport bros and all that. I don't know what country that from. Yeah, look like they from Switzerland or something. All right, they say, yo, just like you wouldn't try to turn a girl on the street here. Same should apply there. You say you wouldn't turn a girl on the street here. What you mean? Like okay, like a housewife. What, turn a 304 to a housewife? Yeah. But then again, there's people who try to attempt it. There's definitely people who try to attempt it. You know, there's definitely some people who try to attempt it. Where you getting attention from the ladies in Switzerland? Yeah, I don't know. Switzerland, I went there for that one day, that time, a few months, what was that, last month actually. And I always heard people say, oh, Switzerland is nice, the mountains and all that. See, where I was, I didn't see all that. I was in Zurich. And I didn't have a whole lot of time there. But yeah, Switzerland is another place where you got to probably be there for a little while to kind of get in where you fit in. New York, I feel like not as much. Out here, you could always find something to get into. You can find a couple people to mingle with, like especially in the tourist areas like this. I didn't feel that in Switzerland. Captain Savers out here, yeah. Where you? Yeah, yeah, they saving them. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Yeah, some of them don't want to be saved. Look, and this is another thing, man. This goes back to. I'm glad we're talking about this now because this reminds me of back when I was talking about the trafficking thing, the sex trafficking. There are some women out there in every in every group, every walk of life, who they don't want to be with just one man. They don't mind moving around. I came to this conclusion that not all women who claim to be innocent and prude and conservative is really that. Some of them just want to be, excuse my word for my language for saying this, hoes. There's some women out there that want to be promiscuous. It's just I've met quite a few of them that and a lot of I think there's some conservative women out there who, God bless them, they've only been with one man in their life. Maybe they get married to a guy and he's the only guy that they've been with and the only guy that they will be with. I commend them on that. God bless those women. But they find it hard to believe that there's women out there who engage in prostitution, who don't mind being prostitutes, who like being out there like that. And they live that fast life, jumping on planes, getting in cars. But if you link up with one of them or send one of them a plane ticket, hold on, let me mute this real quick. Had to be careful right there, that copyrighted. But yeah, so these women are living fast. They hopping on planes. They going to this party, hanging out with these athletes right here. Then they get another call or text. They want to go to another place and hang out at this club or hang out with these group of people. And before you know it, they're sleeping with this one and that one. But if they want to, technically, that's called trafficking. But she's moving on her own. But if she ever go to the police, if she wants to, if she get mad at somebody, she can say, oh, you told her to go, or she went there to see you, and now you involved in something that you didn't even know that you were involved in. All right. I say, yeah, he's back out here. Oh yeah, man.
Ovi lang, ovi, awole, ovi quando non ti cala coming o in
Yeah. I think the Chinese got the biggest population down here. Like one out of every five people out here is Chinese. One out of every five, or one out of every six. Maybe need to learn me some Chinese. You know, you come out here, you get your face drawn. You get your face drawn with this guy. They tell him to clean it up. I don't like this. Give these guys a hard time. Oh, stop taking a video. Yeah. So right here, I mean, whatever hustle you got, you can come out here and put it together. Whatever. If you got a camera and you just like taking pictures, you can come out here and take pictures of people. So much. Who's that right there? Y'all see all of the people. Look at that. Yup. So the city of big lights, city of dreams. Hey, okay. Yeah, there's a model. Maybe Brazil, somewhere, Colombia. But yeah, hey, so we in the mix now. I'm in the thick. I'm gonna go kick it and grab something to eat. So I'm gonna jump off here, man. I appreciate y'all for jumping on with me, man, and engaging in the conversation, man. Especially all y'all that keep coming back, like Penn and Nicholas and Andrew and all your Jose. You know what I mean? Anthony Struggler, Obi. You know what I mean? All of y'all who keep coming through. Face Finesta. It's the first time I think I seen you up here. I appreciate you coming in too, man. And I think it was somebody named Tanisha. But I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna throw this back on. I'm gonna throw it back on probably if not tomorrow, then maybe Sunday or Monday, and then we gonna chop it up again, man. You know, me being here, the biggest story in the city right now is the whole Diddy thing. So I'm definitely gonna follow up on that and give my opinion on the rulings and the law and things like that. And maybe I'll go link up with his lawyer. His lawyer did give me his number. His lawyer gave me his number and said give him a call. You know, might give him a call, but yeah, man. So this is what it is. Thank y'all, man. Peace. Yeah, and I appreciate y'all too for leaving the comments. And thanks, Penn. the other day I did see your comment down here, so I appreciate y'all, man. We gonna do this again.